Hey team, welcome back to my channel. In this video, we're going to learn how to use the data type enum. This is called a numeric enum. Notice the first value inside of enum is north, south, east, and west. Now north gets the value 0, and then sequentially it does +1. So south would be 1, east 2, and west 3. You'll notice that on line 11, I come out and I say console log direction type north, and it gets the value 0, 1, 2, 3. Notice on line 17, console log direction type and then a number sub 1, 2, 3. You see that? Now 0 actually references north, but it only references north because we said, when we said enum direction type on line 5, default north gets the value 0. And that is why on line 17 that's sub 0. On our next screen, you're going to see why that is different. As you can see here on line 5, I said north equals 100. Well, we've learned that each value after that is just a sequential number. So it would be 101, 102, 103. Notice on line 17, direction type sub 100. That would pick up north. You can see the output north, south, east, west on the right. I just had to prove it to you that direction type sub 0 would be undefined. North is sub 100. As you can see here, enum binary num type 1 through 6, instead of just giving a number, I did it in binary. Then down the 13 through 18, we just said binary type .1. That prints out the decimal number of each value. Then on line 20, you see I just did a little addition. Notice here I'm using enum direction type, and we're going to set cur direction to direction type north. Now notice down at the bottom on line 14, north doesn't have a red underscore. And that is because of this instance on line 11. They're not compatible. So what we can do is put the data type number around the variable, and then notice all the squigglies go away. We start off with our numerical enum direction type. Notice north, south, east, west, 0, 1, 2, 3. And then we have a function. This function, get direction, has one input parameter. And based on that variable dir, notice I'm doing the switch statement. So if that value of dir is direction type north, it will return north. If its value is direction east, I return east. So you get that direction type south and west. Now, if they pass me in something that doesn't map with case north, east, south, and west, something different, then it goes to default. And there you can see I'm going to throw a new error. And I'm going to say, I don't recognize what you just sent me. Now on line 41, notice I'm saying console log direction, get direction 0. Well, where does 0 come from? Well, 0 is actually this value right here. An enum actually evaluates to this number. And we can use this kind of like visible constant, direction type north. That's a whole lot more meaningful than 0. So enums aid our development. Now you have to admit, this switch statement is very readable. I mean, you don't have to have much experience to understand this will execute when the direction type is north, as this one direction type west. It's very obvious. So enums aid in development. Now when we pass in direction type east, that's actually the constant, but it's actually going to be passing in 2. So when it comes into here, that 2 will go through there, and then we will say return east. And our last example, get direction 5. Well, we don't have a 5 available. So on this switch statement, it will come all the way down to default, and it will throw error. Let's run this and see the output. Notice we get north for our first query. Get direction 0. We get east, direction type east. And when we tried to get direction 5, notice that it gave us a direction type is not recognized 5. In this example, we're using a string enum direction type. Notice north, south, east, west, and we're just using the first character, but it's got quotes around it. That's what makes it a string. Then I'm saying let current direction equals the type, direction type equals direction type west. And that is why we get this W here when we did line 10. Then I'm going to do a switch off of current direction, and notice I'm going to use that trick that we learned in the other one so we don't get the error, it's not comparable. So now I'm going to come down there, and what are we looking for? West. So I'm going to come down there and print console west. And then I'm just going to do a test. If direction type dot north equals n, then I'm just going to print out direction type north. That gets us the n. It's just an if statement just to show you how to do that. The last type of enum that is available is called a computed enum. And notice here I say enum tran type. So here's a constant. Notice I say begin equals 1. And then working equals a function, get current working ID. That right there is called a computed value. And then look here at the very bottom, I say finished equals 100 minus that same function. So let's go ahead and run this. So notice begin is 1, working is 12, and then finished is 100 minus 12, which will be 88. And there you have it, team. 3 types of enums TypeScript. You have to admit, this makes your code much more readable, and it just like aids in the development when you're like debugging. Instead of using constants like 0, 1, 2, and 3 throughout your code, they're just really, really hard to debug. So enums are used in almost every program that a professional programmer uses. That's the end of this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned a thing or two. I'll see you back in my next video. Have a great week. Adios.